Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I'm Michelle Morris with Consolidated Planning Group. Whether this is your first webinar or third or 31st, we are glad you're here. So thank you for joining us. Today's topic is a little bit different and so important. I think that the worst thing that you could do to your family is to pass away without having any plans in place. As a planner, I help families with that every single day. Um, as a mother, I hope to leave enough information for my children and my husband. And as a friend, I've seen friends pass and the family not be able to find the will. I mean, it's tough out there, and you never know when your moment is going to come. So this is one more aspect of planning that you need to consider. So I'll turn things over to Gail in just a moment, but first I want to go through a little bit about who Consolidated Planning Group is and why do we do this stuff. Well, we host these webinars several times a week in order to educate the community and to help create stronger, more educated communities, right? That's so important. The more education you have, the stronger you are, and the more you can help others. So I thank you, participants, for watching these webinars and gathering the information and educating yourself so that you can be a better advocate and be a better help to the entire community. So we're located just outside of Houston in Sugar Land, Texas, and we are a holistic financial planning firm that focuses on the special needs community. We have over 30 years of experience in life insurance and investments, financial services, all of that kind of stuff. But we do it through the lens of understanding what it is like to have a loved one with needs, because we are all parents, all four financial advisors at Consolidated Planning Group are parents to loved ones with needs. So we do this at home, we do this at work, and we do this in our communities to help you all. So we are chartered special needs consultants. We are also members of the Special Needs Planning Academy and nationally certified Social Security advisors. And I want to point out that even though we live in Texas, because most of our appointments are virtual, we can work all across the United States. So if you know anybody anywhere who might benefit from our talks, please share these with them. Families know that we are the expert in the special needs planning community. There are over 263,000 financial advisors in the US, but fewer than 200, not 200,000, just 200 focus on special needs planning the way that we do. Families come to us for lifetime care planning, transition planning, things like ABLE accounts and special needs trusts, and how do the waiver programs fit in? We can answer all of those questions for you. We can help you figure out the future cost of care for your loved one and how much needs to go into that special needs trust to make sure that they continue receiving that same high level of care that they're getting now, even after you pass away. We help with state and federal benefits and local resources, how to sign up for benefits and when and what they all are and what the rules are, and advocating for you and educating you. Now, a few bits of advice that we always give out for free because these are so, so important. The first thing is the right time to start planning is right now. Does not matter how old or young your child is. By looking at things now, you're going to have a better future. And it doesn't matter if you get everything done right this moment. And it doesn't matter if everything is completely finished when you pass away. But any little bit of help in planning is beneficial, right? So if you start now, you have a longer timeline. You're going to be able to plan in times of relaxation and low anxiety instead of waiting until a crisis hits. We also want you to think about, what happens after high school. Is your loved one going to graduate to the couch or just be on their screen all the time? Or are they going to go to an educational program or a vocational program, or maybe it'll be a work program. Any of those options are available to your loved one, but you do need to think about them early so that you can make sure that if there's a waiting list, you're on it. You can tour these programs and make sure it's a good fit for you guys. And you can plan early in that aspect. And then finally, be very careful. Just be very careful when you think a sibling is going to be a natural fit to step in and take care of their loved one. It's not always a great fit. It can create some resentment on both sides of that equation. So just be careful. So a few more things I want to tell you before I turn everything over to Miss Gail Anderson. We are recording this webinar. We record all of our webinars as we present them, and then we put them on our YouTube channel. So if you need to step away early or watch again later, or if you want to send it to somebody, this webinar will be on our YouTube channel. If you have registered ahead of time, you're going to receive an email later on today that has a link to the recording as well as the slides that we're showing you today. And if you're already watching this on YouTube, or maybe you're listening on our podcast, we can still send you the slides. All you need to do is email us, contact@cpgcares.net. Again, that's contact@cpgcares.net. Finally, the last thing is we cannot see or hear the participants. So as questions come up, or if you would like to comment on anything, please just put that into the chat box. If the question pertains to what we're talking about, I'll make sure Gail knows about it. And if it's something that's better to wait till the end, we'll get to as many of those as we can. All right. Thank you so much, Gail, for being here with us and for sharing your information. I can't wait to hear from you.
Thanks, Michelle. I really appreciate it. Thanks. I was with you guys about this time last year, and as I mentioned, it's amazing how fast a year can go by. So thanks.
It sure is.
It goes so fast. So yeah, I love what I hear about Consolidated Planning Group. I think it's amazing how you guys really specialize in the quality of life and everything to make life with a family member with special needs be as amazing as it should be. And the one small thing I want to focus on is planning for a dignified end of life. So quality of life while your loved one is living is amazing, and then also equally amazing planning for that end of life. Planning for final expenses is challenging. It's not a fun topic. And we firmly believe it does not need to start by going to a funeral home and talking about it there. We really offer a simple solution. So why planning ahead matters. I've talked to so many families, groups, public and private guardians who are faced with crisis planning. They've talked to family members and individuals who don't want to talk about death. They don't want to talk about end of life. It's one of those topics, again, that's kind of taboo. And we all know death is going to happen. That's just the reality of life. And when that happens and they're not prepared, decisions are rushed, choices feel limited, emotions run high. And honestly, a lot of times I've talked to people where they say, there were no funds in the barrel. We really had to scrape what was there, and it wasn't as we hoped it would be. So we're going to talk about pre-planning and the importance of pre-planning, and I'm going to make it very easy for you. Really kind of take away the emotion of it and the challenge. Everything can be set up online from your home. Like we're all on a computer right now for this webinar. So the beautiful thing is I'll show you a way where you can log in and set up all your pre-planning online. You're protecting your loved ones, your family, all of that way ahead of time, and you're leaving fewer burdens down the road for others. So you're making it easy now.
It's really one of the best gifts you can give your family is to make it easy on them.
Absolutely. We were actually just on vacation with my all of my family and mentioned it to the grandparents. So, what are your final need plans? And they were like, oh boy, not this topic. We're like, no, this is so important. You're going to make it easier on all of us if we talk about all this now. So it
Right.
does it really just kind of rip off that band-aid and lighten
Hmm.
lighten things. Let's talk about it. So what are the options of planning ahead? Um, I'm sure that you've thought about a funeral home pre-need plan where you physically go to a funeral home and select goods and services. That's an option. I'm not sure if you've heard about burial bank accounts, another option where you um, go to a bank, open a burial bank account, and it's the maximum amount you can put in this is 1,500. So I know that's quite limiting. Able accounts are another way to plan ahead. I know I talk to a lot of people who say, "Oh yes, we've opened an Able account, which is great." And that's awesome. I'm so glad that you guys pushed that, Michelle. It's
Oh,
great.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's great for quality of life. And then what's left over can be used towards final expenses. So that's wonderful. Um, and we always like to say if you have an Able account, you can use that now and today during your loved one's life to take funds out on any kind of frequency that you want and use the funds today toward final expenses. So, something to think about. So, what we're going to our option is our special considerations irrevocable burial trust. Kind of a mouthful, but basically, um, it's a way to set aside funds for final expenses through our company called Special Considerations. And again, you don't have to visit a funeral home. Everything is done online.
I just want to pipe in a little bit, if I might, about the ABLE account. A lot of people worry about, oh, there's this Medicaid reimbursement clause. The government is going to take all of our money. That's simply not true. What happens is once you open the ABLE account, Medicaid can start counting how much they're actually paying out for your loved one. And let's say there's $20,000 left in the ABLE account when your loved one passes away. It's not that Medicaid is just going to come grab that $20,000. First, that money goes to pay for unpaid expenses like hospital bills, housing bills, anything like that left outstanding. You can use the ABLE account money for that. Then the ABLE account money can go to burial expenses. And then if there's anything left over after those two things, then there might be a reimbursement. So don't panic too much about the ABLE account, but this is a great way to lock in these expenses and make sure that everything is planned.
Yep, exactly. And kind of earmarking it ahead of time is such
Mhm.
the wise option. So why choose our burial trust? Really, our special considerations trust, it's built for special needs planning with less pressure, more flexibility. It's irrevocable. I'm assuming, although I don't want to assume, and I'll cover it. Everyone has heard the term irrevocable. It's such an important term. Basically, any funds you set aside, whether it's insurance or funds set aside for your loved one, do need to be in an irrevocable type account, meaning they will not be counted against you for your benefits. We don't want to lose benefits. So the funds set aside in our special considerations burial trust are irrevocable. It protects your benefits. It's spend down qualified. So if you're ever faced with a spend down, like, oh my goodness, we've got to get funds out of our account so that our loved one remains qualified to receive their benefits, this is an approved spend down expense. Easy enrollment. We'll talk about enrollment in a little bit. The funds set aside in special considerations are Medicaid and Social Security compliant. As a matter of fact, the founder of Special Considerations, her name is Ruth. She has a son with Down syndrome. Years ago, probably 20 years ago, she was heavy in the insurance world and was an insurance provider and knew she needed to do something for her son. She couldn't just have a typical life insurance policy on him because of the fact
Exactly.
that he qualified for government benefits and anything. would make him disqualify. And so she had a great heart and passion for creating special considerations. Um, Thus, it's everything we do is irrevocable, not counted as an asset. Finally, the ease of special considerations is you don't have to go to a funeral home right now. At the time of need, you can choose any funeral home in any state. So really nationwide, our our product, our special considerations burial trust is usable anywhere with any funeral home.
It's fantastic because a lot of times I think people put off planning because they don't know. I don't know where my family's going to live in 20 years. What if I choose the wrong place? And another
Eggs.
thing that maybe you're going to talk about this and you haven't yet, but you'd be locking in costs. I mean, costs of everything seem to go up so much, especially lately. And by doing this ahead of time, you're kind of locking that in at the lower price, right?
Well, because yes and no. Yes, you're
Okay.
setting aside funds now, but locking in, we're not necessarily locking in because of the fact that we're not tied to one particular funeral home.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay. So you are setting aside the funds now, and we always recommend an average funeral. This is average is 7 to 12, upwards of $15,000. Um, so kind of if the more you set aside, the better because of the fact, the reality of inflation. So, our pre-need burial trust, what is it? It's basically a funding vehicle for final expenses, whether it's funeral, cremation, or burial. So, any of the above. I saw a comment in the chat just a second ago as to what the funds can be used for, and we'll absolutely get toward to that in just a minute here. So, the funds uh, that you set aside, basically, they're for final expenses only. It's not usable ahead of time before the individual passes. It's only used after the moment of death. The maximum you can set aside in our burial trust is 25,000. And again, I've mentioned several times, easy online portal for enrollments. When I walk through an enrollment with a family member, anyone for the first time, they're always like kind of blown away, almost speechless by the end of it. It takes maybe 1 minute to walk through the enrollment process. And it's just like, oh, that was easy. That was painless.
Yeah.
So it truly is an easy process. And then again, to be able to be used at any funeral home provider anywhere in the United States is a huge blessing. So you have the freedom to a lot. We offer lots of flexibility, lots of freedom. The freedom here to choose the provider that fits at the moment. Again, as Michelle said, it's hard right now to think, I don't know where we're going to live in 20 years or 30 years or where my child will live if they'll likely outlive me. And I can't guarantee that they're going to want to come back here to Sugar Land and get buried.
Mhm.
So I want that flexibility to be offered for later. So basically, the funds are sent directly to the funeral home at time of need. So the funds can go anywhere in the United States. So here is just an example of authorized funeral expenses. We really include more than what most families expect. And I get questions all the time. Well, what about opening and closing of the grave? Yes, whatever is in the special considerations burial trust can be used towards anything burial related. I won't read all these to you, but you can see a list here. Actually had someone just the other day said, well, what about we want to purchase necklaces for all of our family. Our loved one is going to be cremated. Can we get the ashes put into special necklaces? The answer is yes. So anything related to the cost of the burial, cremation, funeral, any
Memorial.
final expenses, yes. So
Okay.
yeah, I would recommend if you happen to pay out of pocket forgetting that you have this funds and special considerations, when we are notified about the death, save all your receipts. Things can be reimbursed. So
All right, let's talk about this. Yes.
yes, our easy online enrollments, um, super easy. And you'll see basically the enrollment process. If you are interested and say, yeah, I really think I want to enroll my loved one or myself, any of my family, this can be used for anyone, by the way. There's no qualifications as to who can use special considerations. You email me, call me. I know Michelle will give that information here in a little while and say, I really want to start this. You'd request your login credentials. I would create a portal for you through our website. And then basically, I would call you and say, hey, let's walk through the first enrollment together for you or your loved one, family member, whoever it might be. You would need to have available whoever you're enrolling, their name, date of birth, social security number, and the amount that you want to contribute. And then you can contribute via check, ACH, or credit card. TrueLink cards have kind of been a really great reformation, a wonderful change and ability for another quality of life. You can use a TrueLink card to fund special considerations. So, um, again, the three methods of payment: check, ACH, or credit card. And all you would need, again, their name, date of birth, social security number. And you can log in at any time and contribute at any time. Consider it a pot of funds that you're dumping into. Again, with the maximum being 25,000. With our portal, you will be able to log in once you've started an enrollment for someone, and you'll be able to look them up and see how much you have put in. So it'll kind of give a tally of what their contribution is thus far. So when the time comes, as obviously we're here, we know that we're talking about death. We know this will happen. It's again, the reality of life is there will be death. So anyone in the circle of support can report the death, whether it's you as a family member, a guardian, um, a sibling, anyone in the circle of support can let us know. We facilitate the claims process. They can be reported via phone, email, or through our website. I highly recommend doing everything through our website. It's so easy. You basically go to specialconsiderations.com, and there is a link at the top that says report death. And it really couldn't be easier. As soon as you fill that out, as much information as you can in that, we get notified. We let you know, as well as the funeral home at that time that you list, the amount that's in the burial trust, and get the entire process started. I would say 72 hours of time from the start of reporting the death claim is when the funds get sent off to the funeral home.
Now, can anyone use this, Gail? I mean, I know it's extremely convenient for people with needs, but
Yep,
anyone can
absolutely.
use this.
Absolutely anyone. Yes. Yep, whether it's your loved one with special needs or you who are doing the enrollment, you could enroll for your loved one as well as yourself. It's for anyone. I know uh, I've heard people say, well, what if you're a single parent? A single
Mm-hmm.
parent can be um you can set aside funds for your loved one.
Perfect.
So to recap, we really offer convenience, a lot of control, and a lot of choice. So convenience, again, you don't have to go now to a funeral home. You don't have to have that awkward, uncomfortable visit to a funeral home that's kind of depressing. The funds can be used at any funeral home, so you've got that convenience there. And then control. We don't require a monthly contribution to our trust. It's at any time that you want to contribute funds. You are in the driver's seat when it comes to setting aside the funds, whether it's $10 this month, $500. Say you have a spend down of $3,000 that you need to get their bank account good for Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
Any amount you can contribute. You're in control of that. And then choice, you've got the choices. We know that life changes. There's lots going on. You have the choice at that time of need to choose where you want the funds to be sent. Again, we offer the burial trust to be spin down qualified. It helps you qualify for Medicaid. There's no fees, no IRS reporting. Um, there's no minimum for initial deposits. The maximum is $25,000, but there is no minimum, whether you want to start with $5, $100, whatever it is. I would recommend just starting with something, even like just as a test case for yourself to see how easy this is. And then you can contribute more as needed. And again, the maximum being 25,000. And I think you saw just the ease of enrollment, name, date of birth, social security number, and the amount that you want to contribute that day is that's the enrollment process.
That makes it so, so easy. I have another question that I see in the chat box. Can a family share an account, or does it have to go by person?
It
Uh,
goes by person. So,
okay.
um, as a mom, if you want to enroll all of your children and your husband, each of your family members would have their own account, basically. So when sister dies, that person, that amount of funds would go straight towards the sister or whoever
Okay.
it is. Mhm.
Perfect. Now, we see no IRS reporting. Is there any growth? Is there any
Yep.
investment portion? Is it
There,
taxed?
yes, there is growth. No tax. Yes, growth. It is a simple, I believe it's 1.5% simple growth. I will double check on that for sure, but there is a growth. Um,
Okay.
what
And
I
then
see the
yeah.
Yeah, I see that
What
I'm so glad that this question was asked because everyone always asks, what if there are leftover funds? So here's another best part of, I was going to say the best part, but not the best, but another best part of special considerations is we really value the life of the individual, your loved one. And we want the very best for them. If there are leftover funds, first of all, if you've set aside $25,000 for your loved one, I would recommend at time of need, use every bit of that for their celebration of life. Don't, don't dismiss the fact that you've set that aside for their final expenses. If there are leftover funds, they go back to the estate of the individual. And in almost every state, that would be for Medicaid payback. Um, the best part of this is that we're protecting the individual. You can't have, say you as parent set aside $25,000 because you want what's best for your child, and say you happen to pass before your child and there's no one else, no other family members that have really been involved. We don't want some long lost relative who's never been involved when the individual passes. We don't want them to come into play and say, "Oh, I hear there's 25,000. I'm going to set up the cheapest possible funeral and pocket the rest." It will not happen that way. No one can pocket the remainder funds. They go back to the estate of the individual.
fantastic. Okay. But this would be considered under the Medicaid reimbursement payback rules.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I don't see any more questions in the chat box, but please continue to put them in there. Gail's information is down here on the bottom. It's the bottom corner of this slide. So make sure you write that down or look at it again when you get the slides later on today. And Gail, if you would want to put your email and phone in the chat box, that can help.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so are there fees?
There are no fees. No, there are no
It's
fees.
just okay,
You set
okay.
aside the funds, and what's been set aside, it's that plus growth will be available upon death. So nothing comes out of that for fees.
Okay. And you said that this is irrevocable. So if I put $25,000 in there and then tomorrow I need that money for something else, too bad.
Nope, too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So you have to be making sure that this is money that your family wants to spend on this purpose. You can't, pull it back out if something comes up.
Yeah. Nope. Medicaid would not be happy with that, with us and that.
Yes. Yes. That
No,
wouldn't be allowed. All
no.
right. So these are, I mentioned at the beginning of our talk today that we do a lot of these webinars and we cover so many different kinds of topics, everything from legal issues like guardianship and the special needs trust, what happens when there's a divorce in your family, things like that. We talk about the future, the financial future for yourself and your loved one, like retirement planning and the future cost of care. And we think about when you as a parent are still here, it's part of your budget to take care of your kids, especially if they can't do it themselves anymore. But once you pass away and they're still here, there's going to be care that they need. So how do you set that aside before you pass away or at your death? Things like life insurance, your investments, and that sort of thing. We teach people about how your money should flow in all of these different accounts and savings plans and vehicles, and where do we need it to go to make sure that we're in line with all the rules and regulations. We talk a lot about SSI and Medicaid, SSDI and Medicare, and all of those kinds of things. Even sometimes we have panels with summer camps or residential programs or work programs. So definitely check out our upcoming webinars. This link will take you to our events tab on our consolidatedplanninggroup.com website. And you can sign up and pre-register for these webinars. That way, you'll get confirmation instantly. You can put it on your calendar and have the link ahead of time to go to the Zoom. You'll get reminder emails that let you know or remind you that this is coming up. And you can submit questions ahead of time. One of the questions that was submitted today was about single parents being able to do this. Another one was about how to apply for SSI benefits. And that's not necessarily something that's involved in this talk, setting up SSI benefits, but it's definitely something that we help families with. So if you have questions that aren't part of today's topic, or maybe you are too shy to ask in public, feel free to schedule a consultation. This consultation is for Consolidated Planning Group. We would answer any questions that you have left over about any special needs planning topics. We learn a little bit about your family, and then we tell you about how we work and what we do and see if we would be a good fit to work together. So you can use the QR code. You can call or email the office, or you can call or email me directly. And I'm putting all of my contact information in the chat box. So this consultation is over Zoom. It is completely free for now, and we're here to help. So we also just announced or just hired Jessica Alvarez onto our team. She does SSI and SSDI advocating. So she can help you walk through your entire SSI or SSDI application and help you with that process. This is our team of advisors. Allison and Jeff are a married couple. They've got 4 kids altogether, and 3 of them have needs. And then Andy and I are married, and we've got 2 boys, 1 with needs. And this is our staff behind the scenes. We're working on updating pictures, so please don't judge that. But look at all these smiling faces. I just want to remind you that we're going to be reaching out to see if you want to schedule that free initial consultation. Please be kind to our staff. We are here because we want to help you, not to annoy you. So a couple more questions I see in the chat box. Do you have any videos specifically regarding ABLE accounts? Yes. If you go look at our YouTube channel And I put the link in the chat box. There's a link right here on this slide. If you go to our YouTube channel, you'll find videos about Able accounts, SSI, just so many different things. And there's a little search tab in there. All you need to do is type the word able. As a matter of fact, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll probably see it pretty quickly because I think I did one just 2 weeks ago about the able account. Definitely lots of information over there. All right. I'm going to check one last time. Do the
I
burial
mhm. Yep, I saw that
is
about cremation.
cremation
Yes.
included.
Yes, absolutely. So cremation, burial, anything related to final expenses. I would also recommend, I was talking to another client the other day who said that they were going the cremation route and they were so frustrated because they wanted their money to go further and
Mhm.
knew that the earn through the funeral home was like $400. And then they got on Amazon. They were kind of sharing this bit of information with me, which I thought was super helpful. So now I'll share with you. So if you're choosing a
Good.
cremation route and the cremation provider says, yeah, the earn's $400, look on Amazon. I know that this person who I spoke with, they bought theirs on Amazon. They saved the receipt and could be reimbursed, but it was $20. So
Ah,
a great way to save money. So don't be afraid to price around. You don't have to buy a package from somewhere. Make where what funds you've set aside and special considerations go as far as you can make them go.
I love that. I am definitely a bargain shopper too. So if you get a funeral plan, the cost is frozen. No, no, no. No, she's asking kind of what I was asking about. Is
Yeah.
this locking in the price? No, this is not setting the price when you start putting money in. You're just
Yeah.
kind of saving up for the future.
Yep.
Is that right, Gail?
That's exactly right. And that being with the fact that you've got so much flexibility that it can be used anywhere. Every funeral home is going to be a different cost. So we're not locking you into one funeral home.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. So there's no, she says, can you freeze the price at the funeral home and use this trust for burial? There's no freezing the price with this plan. That's
Not
not
with
what
us.
it's
You
about.
could purchase um, part of your burial at the funeral home. You could purchase in some of your goods and services there and then use the trust for any remaining funds. I know that I was talking to a group, I think actually in Texas, and they said that they pre-planned through a funeral home and they were using us basically for opening and closing of the grave because their cost at the funeral home that they locked in, that they froze, doesn't include opening and closing of the grave. So
Oh, interesting.
all
Interesting.
these little things that you kind of learn at time of need, like, oh my goodness, we thought we'd locked in the cost. Well, you might have, but there are maybe some things that aren't included. So
Good, good. Well, and I love this too, the fact that it can be used for anything because,
yeah.
I've always said, I want my friends to go have a party. I know they might be a
Mhm.
little sad, but go have fun, go have
Yes.
some adult beverages,
Yes.
go have a buffet, whatever.
Yeah.
And to know that my family could use these funds even for that. Yeah.
Yep.
Buy me a
Yep.
$20 urn, cremate me, and then go spend
Yes. Yep.
$2,000 on a
Yeah.
party.
Yes, exactly. And can the
I
funds
love
be
that.
sent to the funeral home prior to death? No. It's only upon once we receive the death claim, that's when the funds will be sent.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic.
You all
What
have
have you
really great
ever
questions.
Yeah, this is the last question that I have, and if there's no others, we'll finish after this. I was thinking about this earlier in your talk. Have you ever had, or do you have families that forget that this is out there or don't know? How do you help families like know that this stuff is out there? For example, in the
Yes.
case of my friend who passed recently, his family hasn't found his will yet.
Oh
So
boy.
how do they know that
Yeah.
this is there?
Yep. So a lot of times, well, I'll always recommend keep this in the file the file
The
for
file.
the file.
And make it easy to find.
Yes, make it easy to find. If you have your loved one move to a group home, have this go with them to the group home. Make sure everyone knows about this who
Yes.
is in the circle of support.
I
And
love what Mercedes in the chat
yes,
says. Put it in the letter of intent.
yep,
Yes.
absolutely. The other thing, if you happen to be on this webinar and you care for multiple, are these mostly family on this webinar, Michelle?
We open them up to everybody. So there could be a mix of families, or it could be care providers, which I
Okay.
think is where you were going, or group
Yeah.
home providers.
Yep. If you are a care provider or a group home provider, we also offer, I didn't include this in the oh, I see. I'm a provider agency for special needs. Great. So this is for you, Cassandra. Anyone in the circle of support is able to create an account and start an enrollment. Basically, I would provide for you, for those of you who have multiple people that you care for, a policy list. And this is one thing I didn't include in my topic or in my PowerPoint just because a family wouldn't need a policy list. But I work with lots of representative payees or guardian groups, care
Mhm.
providers who have a list of individuals that they care for, like hundreds. And
Right.
monthly, I will send them a policy list, and it shows everybody who they have enrolled in special considerations and the amount that they have in their burial trust.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
All
So I,
right.
I
Well,
see Mercedes is a legal guardian for a young man and a mother of another, and SDMA with a young lady, contact with parent support. Yes. We do have information in Spanish as well.
wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Post.
Writers ask if,
Yeah.
yep, they can be done with the client alone. The representative payee is able to enroll. So how we can talk and we can set it up
Yes.
however is best.
Oh, that is fantastic. Well,
Yep.
thank you again, Gail, for being here with us and for sharing about special, what was it called? Special
Considerations.
considerations. That word just wasn't going to come to my head. So sorry.
No
Thank you for
worries.
telling us all about special considerations. Um, I think this is just so important, and having this out of the way, and especially out of the time of crisis. That is just so important to me and something that I feel so strongly about. So thank you for help providing this extremely needed service. If
You're so
anyone has
welcome.
any further questions, please feel free to reach out to Gail. Feel free to reach out to us at Consolidated Planning Group. We are here to help you. Everybody have a great weekend. We're almost there. It's Wednesday, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Gail. Bye bye.
Bye.